Hey Soul Tribe, Tracy here with Sweet Spot e-magazine. Thank you so very much for the likes, shares, views, subscribes, the comments, the generous donations, and all forms. Shelly, Create, thank you so very much. Y'all, she sent me the most beautiful, it's a backflow incense burner, and she's also sent the cones, the sticks, and the alcohol pads to clean it. Thank you so very much. I appreciate everything. Let's go ahead and ring the bell. Let's go ahead and clear out the energy, and then we're going to see what the message the Spirit has for us today. Hey LP, how are you? Something ain't funny any longer, y'all. You know how they say they was laughing until they wasn't laughing, or it was funny until it wasn't funny? It was funny until it wasn't funny. Somebody is not, I don't feel like it's just one person though. I feel like it's a group of people that were laughing and they got some type of entertainment in your pain when you had pain. But you know what? The tables have turned. And they're actually able to see that you weren't the one with the addiction at all. It was one of their people. It was somebody in their crew. Somebody was addicted to trying to cause you pain. Not just trying to cause you pain, they were addicted to substances as well. Whether that was alcohol, whether that was prescription drugs, whether that was hard street, somebody was addicted to something. And this is what made it so that they couldn't see straight or see you straight. But you know what? People, they also realize why you left a while back. This is what's causing, but you know what? It's them looking at you is causing them to see God differently. Bottom of the deck. Told you. A group of people. You was that Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening joke. Eb, you can't make this up. Come through, Spirit. And they used to talk about you. Hey, Red Violet. No, they talked about you. Boy, I'm telling you, they don't want this to get out already. Ooh, I must hit the nail on the head just by the ringing of the bell and what I heard when I heard it. Because they already starting. Hey, Helga. Hey, Beatrice. I'm telling you, you was the joke. Hey, Natural Urban, how are you? You was the joke. Red Violet Child is right. See, something about this message today, something about today's message, talking about how somebody was the puppet master and how they wanted to try and control everything, how they was the driving force behind. This was the one who felt like they was the funniest. They was like, oh no, you thought that was funny, wait till you hear this next thing. But see, now the attention is on them. The attention is on them and their immaturity. Now people are starting to think about, you know what? They sure did do a whole lot of drinking. They sure did do a whole lot of partying. They sure did always had a cup in their hand, a drink in their cup, something. But you know what? Let them look at them, and they appeared normal. They appeared well put together, debonair. the people are realizing that somebody had an addiction. They was addicted to something. Whether that was, like I said, drugs, alcohol, whether it was hardcore street drugs, prescription drugs, alcohol, whatever it was, somebody was addicted. Hey, Create, thank you so very much. I appreciate this. It's burning right now. It's just about finished for this first stick and incense cone, but it's burning right now. Yeah, this is what caused you to disconnect from them. But they want to let them tell it. They disconnected from you. Let them tell it. But see, the thing about the abuser or the bully and the abuser never says, oh, I had to leave them alone because I couldn't abuse them anymore. Or I got tired of bullying them, so that's why I left. It's never like that. I felt like I had an eyelash or something in my eye. It's never like that. It's always the one that's being abused. Hey, J. Mike. It's always the one that is being abused. That's the one that leaves. It's never the abuser. You ever notice that? Because people don't get tired of bullying. They don't sit there and say, yeah, I used to slap her around. I used to punch them in the eye. And finally I just said, you know what? My fist deserves better. They never do that. It's always the one who was being abused. That's the one who leaves. And see, people are learning a valuable lesson right now because you're teaching somebody a valuable lesson. And you know what? People are looking at you and they're trying to figure you out because you was always just you. Now people have figured out that you was always in your life purpose. You wasn't crazy. You wasn't deranged. You wasn't weird. Nothing like that. That these abusers, that these bullies, that these miscreants said that you were. You was never like that. You was the one that was being abused. And now things have stopped. All that is over. And people are looking at somebody as, you know what, they sure are vain. They think of themselves all the time. They always like, well, what about me? Well, what am I supposed to get? Well, what about me? People are realizing somebody is very, very vain. That's all they think about is themselves. It's like people are waking up to the fact that they never ever really brought up your name. They never sat there and said, hey, you know what? Give me two. I'm going to take one for me and one for collective. No, they was like, give me two. I want two for myself. They was like, what about collective? Fuck them. They ain't here. People are starting to realize this. Hey, T-Vaughn, how are you? See, it's about this relationship, you know, and it's about how, you know, I feel like you've forgiven somebody. You have forgiven someone. Hey, Faith. You know, somebody always thought that it was about how they looked, not what they did. They was always worried about, did they look good? They was never really worrying about, is this shit, do I really need to be doing this old shit? Hey, K Hypsee. They never thought about that. But now they have no choice but to think about it. Especially everything that they've done is what's standing out the most. That's all that people can see is everything that they've done to you. Not just that, but things that they took from you. Hey, high priestess. They're noticing that this person has, some things that may have your initials on it, some things that they remember used to be yours, and they noticing that this person has a lot of things. They also remember how you would give them things, send them things, do things for them, but they can't remember one time that they did anything for you. You have nothing that has from so and so to collective. Hey, the soul archetype. Hey, high priestess. And it doesn't bother you. It doesn't bother you. Not really. Because you have come to understand that, you know what? It's probably better that way. So that you don't have that memory every time you look at this thing, knowing that they probably picked it up off the street and figured that it didn't work for them, so they was going to give it to you. Here, you could have this. I don't need it. It don't work. Hey, Iman, how are you? Imana, Orlena, how are you? See, people are now starting to understand why you changed directions or why you went into a different direction, why you chose a different path, why you didn't act like that group of people that used to sit around and laugh at you. They're realizing why you are different, and the reason that you're different is because you're an earth angel, because you've always been wholesome. You've always been true. You've always been the type of person that used to do right even whenever someone else did you wrong. Even if this meant that you weren't going to get the grand prize, you were honest. And people remember that about you, and they respect that about you, your honesty. Somebody thought that they could be at some other remote location and, like I said, talk about you, and it would never come back around. And they used to talk about how you was doing this and you was doing that, and you had problems with this and you had problems with that. And they made it seem like it was you. Whereas you was just at a different location because you was trying to preserve yourself. You was trying to save yourself. You was always that one that was the scapegoat. And people are starting to realize that that's that backstory that this bully, the abuser, didn't talk about. How you was the one that was being abused. They didn't want to bring that up. They didn't want to say, I'm the one that's abusing so-and-so. They didn't want to do that. And so this is why justice is here. Justice is to make sure that everybody that was part of that fuck shit gets theirs. You survived enough. And everything that you survived, you still came out with an award-winning personality. You didn't let anything or anyone change you. I feel like your ancestors, your passed over loved ones, visit you often, whether it is in your dreams, whether it's, they're sitting down next to you watching TV and you don't really notice that they're there because you can't see them, but maybe you can feel that they're there. I feel like they are around you a lot, protecting you, And maybe you are aware of this, because you're a very conscientious person. You're very aware of what's going on around you. And you know that just by the sheer fact that your ancestors are with you, you are very privileged. This is why other people, that group, they used to laugh at you because they didn't want you to remember how privileged you always have been. They didn't want you to remember that when you was a baby, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncle, or whoever, they used to treat you a certain way and they treated others another way. Confirmation if you heard the horn. But you remember. Not only did you remember, but it's not like you acted, any differently. You didn't. You stayed the same. You just took it in stride. You felt like it was just an expression of love. You didn't feel like, hey, I get to do whatever I want. You was never that spoiled child because others did not allow you to be that spoiled child. This is why somebody, and I feel like, what, your ancestors, the reason that they did this when they was here on the 3D, the reason they gave you so much attention, and even after they've started passing over, crossing over, the reason they continue to be around you is because they expected somebody to come in with that drama. They expected you to go through a life that you would have not ever gone through had they still been here. But they knew that they was not able to do anything to protect you because they had already crossed over. All they could do was talk to you. All they could do was hold your hand. All they could do was try to guide you in the direction that you should go. But I feel like with somebody who felt like they were so wise, like they knew better, you could kind of prophesy about this person, what they were going to go through. And I feel like you did. I feel like you prophesied about this wise guy. Somebody who thought that they knew everything. You couldn't tell this person anything because they felt like they knew everything. And this is part of that tribe, the ones that were laughing at you. But today, like I said, ain't shit funny now. Now they need some help. And they hoping that you'll be there. The only advice I feel like you have to give to this person who felt like they knew everything, to this person who felt like they had all the time in the world to play all these games, was take care of yourself. See, now somebody is learning an important lesson because something has come up for them that's extremely important, and it's changing how people see them. People have a different perception of them now because of how they treated you when they should have been there beside you, supporting you, assisting you, helping you in all different types of ways. But instead of them helping you, instead of them being your biggest cheerleader, like you were their biggest cheerleader, this person was a witch towards you. See, now is a time that, like I said, somebody needs you. Now is a time that they miss that love, that unconditional love that you gave. You know how you was always there. You still have that unconditional love. It's just that now you have it from afar. See, the leader of that group, of the ha ha ha, let's talk about collective group, let's laugh at collective's expense group. Now that person has a different objective than they did before. Because like I said, they need you now. Something is going on with them that they have no control over. They don't know how to get out of this. They don't know what to do. They haven't even a slightest of clues. Hey, Hypsee. Now they want peace. Now they want to explore, having a good relationship with you and pour it into you and hyping you up and supporting you and being your biggest cheerleader. Now they want to think about that. Whereas before, they was your biggest competitor. You don't believe in them. You don't believe in them. You feel like you have to defend yourself. You feel like you have to protect yourself from them. And like I said, this is what's causing people to see God in a different light. Because no matter what they did to you, you didn't do that same shit back to them. They looked at God, they took religion like it was a joke. Like, as long as I go to church on Sunday, I can do whatever the fuck I want. Monday through Saturday. But as long as I'm in church, as long as I'm sitting in the pews or whatever, then I'm okay. As long as I can go to the front of the church, even if they say, anybody need to come to the front of the church, I'll go to the front of the church every now and then, and let God know, hey, I'm still good, and then leave church and go right back to the bullshit that I was doing. Hey, Robert. See, somebody's realizing that they was too much of a dark priestess. They did way too much. Hey, Baby Yoda. They did way too much. They invested too much on the dark side. Now it's like now they want to make a different promise. They want to promise to be, it's like that. I feel like with this home card, somebody wants to make a different promise. Like they want to promise to be there or to help you or to act like, that they take, you seriously. And it could be because this person now needs a home to live. They have nowhere else to stay. See, that's too bad. I just heard too bad, so sad. Oh, I didn't want to say that. But it is too bad. Because see, they refused to look at you in the past as being innocent. They couldn't see that. Because you were the one that they had to blame everything on. You was the emotional garbage can. They wasn't going to go out and tell everybody, yeah, I'm mistreating collective. So the fuck what? Yeah, it's not really them, it's me, but who gives a fuck? They didn't see that before. They didn't want to give you props that you didn't do anything to deserve any of this. They didn't want to tell everybody that they was just jealous because they felt like you was perfect. They didn't want to tell people that they was afraid to work on themselves. That they was afraid to go within and heal what was broken. They didn't want to say all that shit. So instead, they pointed you out. They made it seem like you was the big problem. You was the one that stood out from the rest. You know that song, one of these things just don't belong. One of these things is different from the other. Something, 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 something or another. That song. Y'all know I don't know the words. But see, people are starting to wise up. They're too smart now. And even they see things differently now. They see that it was this person that worked really hard to bring conflict your name. They blamed everything on you. The whole time you was on your throne. The whole time your ancestors were holding your seat. You know, now somebody, it's like they're having a hardship in their life and they don't know, they haven't the foggiest idea of how to get out of this. They couldn't begin to think of how to rectify this whole situation that they're in. See, it was funny before, whenever they was young and vibrant and full of life and the money was good and everything else, but when shit started turning and drying up, it wasn't funny anymore. Now somebody, like I said, I feel like they got to look for another place to go. Yeah, it's not funny anymore, but you know, this person is still, you know, not maturing, is still, you know, with these issues going on because they're afraid to whether it's put the bottle down, put this down, put that down, you know, they're afraid to stop with all the bullshit and figure out what's going on with them. They still want to blame it on you, but see, they're having an issue. Because they can't blame it all on you and then need your help. You know what I'm saying? They can't sit there and talk about you bad like a dog. And then people are like, wait, what are you doing with Collective? Because you said that it was because of Collective that you even in this situation. So why are you even with the person whose fault it is you in this situation? You see how they're learning a valuable lesson. This person should have just been them. Unapologetically, authentically. They should have just been themselves as opposed to trying to be somebody that they wasn't. Hey, Aisha, how are you? You know, and it's like now this person needs you. This is like the one relationship that they feel would have done them the best. But they put so much importance on other things that really didn't even matter. That ain't going to help them now. You know? Things that will be considered here today and gone tomorrow. Hey, AJ, how are you, sweetie? Yeah. Somebody had put themselves in this type of situation. When they were sitting there pointing the finger at you, when you was the butt of the joke. But now, since you're the one who is solid, rock solid, I might add, and everybody sees that you weren't ever the problem. If anything, people are starting to realize that you was the cure. Yes, you defended yourself against all that conflict that somebody brought towards you. And people are starting to see, you know, what their whole objective was. And their whole objective was because they was just a snake in human clothes. That was it. And like I said, it's bothering somebody now, you know, and they thinking about how they laughed, they pointed at you, they called you out your name. If they was going by you, they slap you in the hallway. They blamed everything on you. They laughed, but now they're not laughing anymore. They're not laughing anymore. If anything, they're haunted by their own actions. Now all that laughter has stopped. And they are afraid that they are at the end of the road. They are afraid that they are at the end of the road. This is why this person wants forgiveness from you. You forgave them. Let them rest easy and tell them, I have already forgiven you. There's nothing else that you need from me as far as forgiveness is concerned. It's done. You can rest. Rest easy now. All is forgiven and forgotten. But see, that doesn't absolve them of their problems. They still need some place to go. But this person has to remember that they always felt like you was privileged. You know, that's why this person, and they expected you to be the vain one. They really did, but you was never the vain one. It was them. And this is why they're getting justice for treating you in a certain way that you did not ever deserve to be treated. They're getting justice for this. And you know what? It's about damn time. It's about damn time. What's the message, Spirit? Hey, Yvette, how are you? What's the message? And you know what, AJ? I forgive and I forget. That don't mean that I'm going to be stupid and let them back. I choose not to remember those negative memories. Forgotten. I just know that, hey, if somebody comes back around, the answer is no. I don't have to sit there and dredge it back up. I don't have to worry my head or go through any emotions or nothing like that. So yeah, I forgive and I forget. Now they are going to have a problem forgetting their own drama that they caused you. Hey, Addie, how are you, sister? They have the problem forgetting of the drama. But you shouldn't have a problem doing that. What's the message, Spirit? That's like, you holding on to the hot stick, wondering why it's still burning your hand. Let it go. Let it all go. What's the message, Spirit? What's the message? Yep. See, somebody wants to send you a message. And they want to talk about how they worked on, how they viewed you. Like they really had to work on how they viewed you. They should have been trying to work on how they viewed themselves. It's almost like this person saying, I worked on my jealousy of you. They should have really just worked on why they were even jealous. You don't have to work on one thing, just work on yourself. Don't work on anything outside of yourself. This is what this person needs to think about. They needed to work on what was on the inside. They needed to work on why they felt like they deserved what you had, as opposed to them working on themselves to get what was for them. See, that wheel, it's time that shit came right back around. Because that wheel, it just goes around and around and around. So it is their time to be, whether at the top of the wheel, the bottom of the wheel. It's their time. Now, this person, look, this person is sitting here, really, they was jealous. They was jealous of any relationship that you had, and this witch was right here, always in the background. Well, what they call it whenever somebody is in the picture and they in the background, photobombing. Somebody was always photobombing, always giving you the evil side eye, always trying to act like, oh, they deserved, and like, I gotta show my disgust. See, somebody didn't realize that's who they were in those pictures. They didn't realize they photobombed so many damn pictures, that they was caught with their true expression in so many damn pictures. Sneering, frowning, looking a certain way, looking like they was just disgusted. They didn't remember that. That's their problem. Kay Hypsee, thank you so very much. I really do appreciate you so very much. Thank you, thank you. All right, Red Violet, enjoy your day at work, honey. Yeah, like I said, and it's time. Now it's time. See, it's time that this time they gonna miss that love that you was so freely given, that they don't have any parts of now. And like I said, they learning an important lesson right now. A very important lesson about they did too damn much. They was addicted to doing too damn much and trying to blame it on you. It wasn't your fault. Bottom of the deck. 4 of Swords. Now somebody's praying. They're trying to ask God for forgiveness because you had no other choice but to walk away. Let me turn this fan on, y'all. Hold on. They trying to ask for forgiveness because you had no other choice but to walk away. But see, what messed them up is once you walked away, that's when everything started going right in your life. That's when God started moving everything quickly, and that the wheel of fortune started really turning for you. And this person was confused. Like, how collective going to walk away and their life gets so much better? Well, I guess that means that it wasn't collective that was the problem. I guess that meant that was that person that was the problem. And see, now this person, they have this idea about something that they want to work on, and they're trying to put it all into preparation. They're trying to plan shit, now they're trying to plan shit. And the shit is how to get back in your good grace. How to make things okay with you now. Hey, Stacks, how are you? But see, they are sad, sick, busted, and disgusted because of everything that they got the rest of this family to do to you. How they had people gang up on you, against you. How they wanted to leave you out, in the cold. This is somebody who used to pray underneath the moon. That all these bad things would happen to you, only for you to end up as the Empress. This is somebody who used to spread all these damn lies about you, that tried to turn neighbors and friends and classmates and whoever else against you. Because this person thought that they was going to get their way. They thought that they was going to be seen as the righteous one. only to find out this person went in the whole fucking wrong direction. They took a leap of faith, and now they're the ones who are out in the cold. Because the truth came out. Archangel Michael was here fighting for you, and this is why you came out the winner. And it's not even that you did anything special or spectacular. You just did you. You just worked on what you promised God that you was going to work on, and that was to get rid of these generational curses. That was all you did. And that's everything that you did, which was a lot. You know, now somebody, like I said, they want peace. They want to be at peace with you because now they're thinking about how they planned all this shit and did all this shit and tried all these curses and everything else ever since you was young. Like I said, you was the butt of the joke. And this person now they're looking at you, and not only are you the whole earth angel, but you also the star. You're the one who saved the lineage. You're the one that everybody looks up to because you are the star. The star is way up here. So everybody has to look up to you. Angels, they're up there. See, I told you somebody wants to bring you that olive branch now. They want to tell you how, you could be the emperor, like where you're controlling your own land. You got your own company. You're in control of yourself. You look at everything very balanced and everything, and you have a heart. And I feel that God is happy about you too, of everything that you've done, because of everything that you've gone through. See, you could have been a person that only concentrated on the money, but you saw that wasn't it. The money didn't make you happy. I feel like there was somebody else in your life that tried to cut you out of what it was that you deserved too, had to do with money. What's the message, Spirit? Yeah. Something about when you walked away. Confirmation. Something about when you walked away. Shit stopped being funny at that point. Because see, they was trying to make it so that you came, out of your yourself, and you was like, everybody stop laughing at me, or doing some stupid shit. You never did. It wasn't for you to do that. Why? You didn't care what those people did. They were making themselves look bad. They was never making you look bad. And anybody that believed them, they made themselves look bad too. So if you want to believe some lies, you go right in ahead. It just lets the collector know what type of person that you are. You're a follower. You're easily misled. Yeah. Where you always stood independent. You always stood by yourself. You was not a person that felt like you had to be one of the many. In fact, you purposely was not part of the crowd. You purposely did not do that. What's the message, Spirit? I'm telling you, I feel like people are understanding why you left, and it was because you had to defend yourself, and they're seeing that now, since you had to defend yourself for the way that you did, way that you chose to do it, and the blessings that you received after you've done it. Yes, everybody is seeing you differently because they're seeing God differently. They're understanding that God is in you, not somebody that's up in the sky. People are they're receiving that judgment about how they were acting. They see you totally differently now. And they're wondering why they didn't see you before. What was it that they missed? I feel like it was all that chatter and all that, stuff going back and forth that somebody couldn't concentrate. They couldn't really hear. Even though you was telling them the truth, even though you came with solid proof, even though they knew that you had all the gifts, even whenever you decided it was time for you to just sail away, it was time for you to leave peacefully. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, we back. Well, I tell you, this internet, oh my goodness. What else, Spirit? Anything else from this deck? Anything else from this deck? Let's get a different deck. Yeah, people are realizing that God is truly within each of us, each and every one of us. And that God doesn't sit here and point the finger, and God doesn't sit here and judge somebody like they did. They're realizing now that, you know what? The way that they were acting was not godly. The way that they were acting was not pleasing in God's eyes. They're realizing that now. Bottom of the deck. Yes, they are seeing things totally different because somebody's been caught. And the world is looking at this person that has been caught. Yeah, somebody was trying to balance something out. They was trying to change something before this tower moment happened, but they couldn't. The tower was meant to happen. Everybody that had their part in this, now everybody's trying to be very diplomatic towards you, trying to act like, oh, no, well, it wasn't that bad, was it? And I do apologize if the part that I put in was that bad. See, people hope that you can't remember straight, like you was out of your mind remembering, but you not out of your mind remembering. Not at all. You're very strong. And you remember everything that happened, the truth. And that's what you're going to do, is speak the truth. Hey, Ashina, how are you? Yep. Somebody wants to send a message, or people are receiving a message about courage. About sometimes, you know what? You have to be strong to stand alone. You're not strong when you're one of 20 and everybody's doing some fuck shit and you know what's wrong. That's not strength. That's being a coward. That's being a flying monkey. That's adding to the problem. So people are receiving the message that, you know what? Strength comes from within. Strength comes from, you know what? I'm not down for this bullshit. I'm not even going to be a part of this bullshit. Confirmation. See, you was balanced in the love that you gave. You was balanced with this relationship that you was in. You was the one that was balanced. You wanted that equal give and take, that reciprocity. You didn't want to be the one that always gave and gave and gave and received nothing in return except for drama, except being laughed at, except being ridiculed, except being emotionally dumped on, except all the bullshit, except being bullied. You didn't want that. You wanted something that was balanced, that give and take. And now that the wheel of fortune is turning in your favor and it's turning away from those people They are experiencing the same pain that you were made to suffer. Hold on, y'all. Let me get this little screen print. Send feedback. Somebody's trying to get into my URL again. I tell you. Let me see. Capture. Allow. Okay. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay. All right. Okay. Yep. Hold on. All right, y'all. What I'm going to do is we just get ready to start a new stream because I don't feel if this is Sweet Spot e-magazine. If you're seeing this and it's anybody on anybody else's channel, then they are stealing this. This is Sweet Spot e-magazine. All right, y'all. What I'm getting ready to do is we're getting ready to start a new stream like immediately, and we're going to do free questions. So if we have any free questions, then let's just jump over to the new stream. We're going to do that, okay? All right. So let's see. I'm gonna stop this one and then just start a new stream right away. Thank you so very much. On the other side.